Life is, can be, and should be illogical. This is Bart, and welcome to Backstage with Bart. This is day 4 of our challenge to get out of your comfort zone. And so, what we mean by that? Well, today's challenge deals with concentration. This is day 4, and this is a way we've got 60 days here to build a strong, resilient mindset. And today's challenge is simple, but not so easy. So let's get to it. First of all, let's look at the challenge quote for today, and it reads: "Focusing takes practice, but it's a skill worth the effort." Once again, focusing takes practice, but it's a skill worth the effort. So, what are we talking about here? Well, once again, the card is concentration. And here is the challenge. It's called clock watching. Watch a clock for 20 minutes without looking away. You might go, what? It's all about focus. So here's the why. Here's the why. And this is based on historical evidence. This is a brilliant concentration test. Interestingly, it's an old exercise that was used to help build concentration back in the day. When I say back in the day, it was mentioned in a book about concentration in 1918, over 100 years ago. So technically, this is a historic practice. It is hard to do and can be frustrating, which makes it excellent mental training. Yes, it's simple to look at a clock, but how easy is it to focus on that clock for 20 minutes without looking away? You can blink, but you can't look away. And here's the how. Here's the directions on how to do this. Find a clock face that has hands rather than a digital clock. Now follow the second hand with your eyes for 20 minutes as it rotates around the clock. Imagine looking at a second hand for 20 minutes as it rotates around the clock. That's a very different focus required than setting your timer on your microwave for 20 minutes and watching it count down. Very different, because your mind and your eye coordination is focusing on that hand second by second by second, ticking away. 19 minutes, 18 minutes, 17 minutes. Do not take your eyes off the hand, whatever happens. Pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, but deceptively tricky. Now, a harder exercise, of course, is to go longer. Focus on 40 minutes, focus on an hour. So why are we doing this? Well, it should start to come into some type of clarity now. We've had 4 cards that we've been working with. There's 60 of them. It's 6 sets of 10. The first one we did was creative, and if you remember, we were to make our own gratitude jar. Many of us have gratitude lists and do gratitude all the time, but by making a gratitude jar and putting your gratitude, writing out a sentence, and write it out, don't type it out, write out a sentence on a sticky or a piece of paper or something, and fold it up and put in that jar, because you're going to see the volume of gratitude that starts to collect over a very short period of time. The next day was discomfort, one of my favorite ones, because what we're supposed to do? Douse our face and hands with honey and leave it there for an hour. You could use something like a mask for your face if you want, and put that on your hands. But the idea is you put something like honey, something sticky, on your face and on your hands, and for an hour, you can't move. You can't go touch anything. You really can't eat anything. You have to sit there. And what does it do? it starts to declutter your mind. You start to think of things differently. You start to really analyze and work through so many things that are going on. And then the one yesterday was skill. For me, this is the toughest one so far, and is to juggle three balls. Learn how to juggle three balls. In fact, the exercise really wants you to get out of your comfort zone and learn something different. Learning something difficult can teach you a lot about yourself. And I mentioned in the podcast yesterday that I am learning how to trade in the Forex market. And we have an education platform that I'm affiliated with, and it actually teaches me things and makes me look at things differently. And so, in a way, I'm juggling using those same centuries, those same perceptors, analyzing things and really concentrating differently. And that's opening my mind up to other things and things that are happening. But then today's is clock watching. How much fun is that? To really sit and stare and watch a clock for 20 minutes. And you might think, well, that's easy because you watch a television program that's 30 minutes. But the television program has commercials, and you look down and check your smartphone, and you look and maybe go get, another drink or a snack or something, or you pet the dog or cat. Not with this exercise. You have to focus for 20 minutes on a clock and find one that has a second hand. Even if it's a watch, look at that second hand and watch it go around for 20 minutes. Because here's what's going to happen. Pretty soon, your mind's going to start to really focus on that and free up other things that will come into some clarity. And when you finish that 20-minute exercise, you're going to have a whole different perspective. Your whole body language will be different. You'll be much more relaxed. There'll be a tense part to it because it's a tricky exercise to do. But overall, you'll come into a period of time when it becomes very, cathartic. It becomes something that you just accept and do. And isn't that what it really all should be about? So why are we doing this? Because I believe heavily, and there is absolute scientific proof that mindset is 90% of everything we do. It's the how. And here's the other thing I know for a fact, is the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And if you want to change how you do everything, you got to change step by step how you do anything. And that's what these 60 cards, these 2 months worth of analyzing things will do for you. It will help you look at things and analyze things differently. I've been into this for 4 days now, and I'm already seeing a pattern. And as I wake up in the morning, I'm already doing things differently. I have not read these cards. When I pick up the next day, I'm reading right along with you. I have no idea what tomorrow's card is, except I can tell you the topic is physical. Today's was concentration. Tomorrow is physical. I have no idea what it's going to be. I will not look at it until I come back on live with you tomorrow. Why? Because I believe, as I said at the top of the podcast, life is, can be, and should be illogical. It was illogical for Steve Jobs to ever think he can make something like this to him. What do you start with? iPod. Apple now just announced they're doing away with the iPod. The iPod became the iPhone. Who knows what is coming up next? You have watches now that does everything phone does, and this phone is much more powerful than any computer I probably have ever owned. And so you can see something illogical becomes the standard. That's how we move into the next round. The Wright brothers would have never, ever taken off and flown had they not been thinking illogically. If Henry Ford had asked his customers or asked people in public opinion, what would they want? Their response would have been faster horses, because it's illogical that something like an automobile would come along. And what do we have now? We have automobiles not only parallel park themselves, but also drive themselves, let you know when someone's encroaching upon your lane. I mean, it's really, really amazing what technology and artificial intelligence have done for us. Which leads me, as we walk through all of this, we just start thinking illogically. Here's a question for you to start pondering. Is it more illogical or logical to have a job? Or is it more illogical or logical to create a pathway that provides you the freedom to have the lifestyle you deserve? Think about that. If you're 18, 19, 20 years old, my guess is you're going to vote for the latter. For someone like me that's been around and worked for corporate America and worked independently as consultants and done things, you take a longer time to come to some clarity on that. And hopefully what we're doing over these 60 days will help you come to that clarity. I have a very special Facebook group. It's a private group called Artists as Entrepreneurs. It's not just for people in the artistic world, for entertainers and artists. It's not just for them. It's also for anyone in the entrepreneurial world, anyone who wants to think differently and wants to think entrepreneurially and wants to know how they can create and sustain a lifestyle they deserve. And this is not a private group where you're sold anything or I'm going to present anything along that line to you. Not at all. It's a safe haven for a real true discussion of successes, of challenges. There is no such thing as a failure as long as you learn from it, because then it's becoming a learning opportunity. So think about that as well. You're welcome to go out to Facebook to Artists as Entrepreneurs. You'll be asked to answer 3 questions. I'll get your responses, and then you'll be a member of the group. And you can help work within that group and grow within that group so we can have this amazing conversation, an amazing support system to help each other as we journey through and navigate through some challenging times, but also some incredibly rewarding times. So when we come back tomorrow, I hope you've taken 20 minutes. I hope you've focused on a clock. Hope you've watched the second hand go round and round and round and watch it. It may become hypnotic, but stay focused and keep watching it. Because remember, life is, can, and should be illogical. I am Bart. This is Backstage with Bart, because you can't get to center stage without going through the backstage. I'll see you tomorrow on this podcast. Can't wait to see you then. And, be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and click that bell for notifications. Leave your comments there as to what you've learned, what you've seen. I can't wait to read some of your comments and share this, pass this on, because nothing ever will happen logically until we start making things happen illogically and take the ill out and make the illogical logical. I'll see you tomorrow.